Oh my gosh, hi everyone. Wait, this is a new circular format. It's been a while since we've done the lives. I have dye worked my hair several times, but I'm so excited to have you guys back today because we're kind of been experimenting with the live format. If you haven't been checking out the Neopets blog articles, you definitely should be because, we've been posting big updates on there. We have roadmaps on there and we have like a more in-depth written AMA, but obviously, we do want to bring this like video format back here and there. So that's why we're doing a stream today. And today's stream is actually a little bit different. Um, a lot of you guys submitted questions through social media and through the recent article we posted, and we'll be answering those today. But there is also a pinned comment where there's a poll for questions that we will be answering today. So while we talk about some other things and ask some other more pressing questions, you can click the link and cast your votes for questions that you also want to see answered towards the end of the stream. So please go check that out. And without further ado, I will be welcoming a few members from the Neopets team that you've seen before to answer your questions, including TNT Dom, TNT Dingo, and TNT Aesop. We're all in like different places today. Like I view those of you looking at my background, this is for the new Y27 UCDD capsule. Like I was like, I'm not gonna match with Aesop. I'm not gonna match with Dingo. I will be doing a preview. So I'm so excited to see you guys. I guess we might be waiting for Dom. Maybe some technical difficulties. But while we wait, Aesop, do you want to start off by introducing yourself? Maybe give us your pronouns, tell us a little bit about what you do, and then pass it off to Dingo.
For sure. So I'm TNT Aesop, he, him. I do a lot of narrative work at Neopets. I'm the narrative and creative director. So right now I'm juggling a lot of things, everything from, making sure the projects we have with partners go out and are reviewed in line with our brand, and then also things like the plot that's ongoing, helping out with things like events, all the different products we're working on the side. We have some really cool things. I can't share everything quite yet, but there's a lot of really cool things in the works that I've been kind of all around and have my hands in every little thing here and there, I guess. So yeah, that's it for me. And you can see I have the long beard now. I typically tell people that's how you can tell how busy I am. The longer and more unruly it is, the crazier life has been. So we've been really busy lately. It's evidenced by the beard.
The beard was growing like people were like, what were you doing while like the plot was, pushed back to update it? And you're like growing my beard, obviously.
Straight hermit. Yep.
I love that. Dico, what about you?
Hello. Hold on. Let me see if I can do my way. I'm still muted. I hit the button and I was still muted. I'm sorry. Okay. Hi. Let me wave.
It's like
Wait,
the
the
wave
mute.
hearing you somehow.
I
Yeah.
think the wave mutes you. Were you silent or were you
Oh, you know
silenced?
what? You know what? I think if this wait, it says control D to mute. I don't know. Well, I won't do it again. Okay. All right. Anyway, any pronouns fine. I'm a programmer. What did Aesop say? He grew out his beard. I don't have a beard. But I'm excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, yes, so incredible. Also, I just realized I never introduced myself. Guys, I'm TNT Luna. A lot of you guys from previous lives, I have been sort of like the community facing person, but recently I have been adopted by TNT Rainbow and TNT Goldfish and Bowl, and I've been working on NC. So if you enjoyed the latest MME that was inspired by the one Taylor Swift lyric, something nightmare, something daydream. I know it. I'm an actual Swiftie. I'm just on the spot. So I've been like designing NC stuff lately, which has been really fun for me. And I obviously still am involved with the community side, but roles diversify here, and it's been very fun. Um, I am. I'm like worried that Dom is lost in the void. Aesop rips off his beard. He's like, "It's me."
All along.
I've been dumb all along. That was a plot twist. That's why. That's why. But so while we have you, Aesop, like I'd love to just ask you. A lot of people were very excited about like the plot launching, but what would you say is something that you're most excited for people to see with like Lost in the Dark coming out? And like, is there anything that you specifically worked on during this like interim that you're excited for people to see?
Yeah. Oh, I think we have Dom here now too.
Oh,
Yay!
Oh, well, I will just ask you that question later.
We can get to it.
Wait, hey Dom.
No, I'm
Um,
in the backstage all the time, so I've been listening to the AMA, but not a part of it. But I guess I'm the only one with a
um,
background. More technical difficulties, but that's fine. I'm
oh,
glad
no
I'm here.
worries. No worries. Thanks for joining us from the green room. Are you in Hong Kong right now, or have you been traveling?
I'm actually in China now. I've been doing a bunch of
Oh,
meetings
wow.
here, so I'm still here.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for joining us today. And in that case, Aesop, chew on that question. I'll ask you later. And let me just get into some of the questions that we have for you guys today while people are voting in the polls. So Dingo, I think this might be one for you, but a player or users have asked, what are some of the top bug fixes and how did they actually improve the overall user experience on Neopets? I know we do like a lot of fixes, but a lot of times people may not see it. But is there anything that you've particularly worked on that you would categorize as like a top bug fix recently?
Yeah, so recently, among the most impactful would probably be the Grundo warehouse price code error
Mm-hmm.
thing that was going on where the page was just blank. We did take care of that. We tried to ensure that the codes now actually redeem. I think that's a pretty
Mm-hmm.
important one. We did restore over 100 more classic games. And the NC Mall now upstates balances instantly after purchases,
Mm-hmm.
which it didn't do that before, which I'm sure that was scaring a lot of people, um, or exciting a lot of people because they thought that their money didn't or their NC didn't go away. Sorry, guys, now
Mm-hmm.
it will. And big important though, we did improve PayPal callback system. That one is really
Mm-hmm.
important because that's y'all's money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then some other fixes just include like battle logs, resolving issues with
Mm-hmm.
pets not using items, restoring
Mm-hmm.
meal mail replies, improving auction house. We've done a lot this year. The release notes page is
Right.
miles long now. It has a lot of this stuff. But we are gonna keep squashing all the bugs that we can, making everything
Oh,
more
right.
reliable for everybody.
No, no, true. Like the release notes page is so thorough. So for those of you that haven't checked it out, like that is a great place to see bugs that have been fixed, down to like names of the wearables. 100 classic games is so exciting. I myself will only continue to play Fashion Fever for the quest log, but thank you so much to everybody who's actually talented enough to win an avatar. Could it be me? And thank you for all the work that you've like been doing on that. I also just read today, woke up to like a Slack notification that was like invisible pets like can finally be entered in the customization spotlight. So for all of you invisible Jubja baddies out there, please go check it out. Um, and here, let the next question. I think this might also be one for you, but then Dom, you might be able to add on. What were some notable feature delays or missteps, like the Trudy surprise update? Since you know the players want a bit of like transparency from us about like things that went wrong and like how we address them, like when Trudy's updated, things like that.
So yeah, there've been quite a few missteps, like our misinformed removal of the quest log skip button, which caused a lot of confusion, frustration. It really had nothing to do with the skip button. Actually, it was the
Mhm, mhm,
removal of
mhm,
the ability to quote unquote re-roll your prizes, but we fixed that with the added re-roll. The
mhm,
truly
mhm,
surprised glitch thing, um, we added added new gift boxes, and
mhm,
some of those rewards were a little delayed, but we lingered. Some of those bugs lingered a little longer than we would have liked, but that's just how it is with the development cycle. We come back around, we fix them, we
mhm,
do. I know we say we're gonna fix everything, and we do, but sometimes it just takes a while. Um, and then we've promised certain features that are remaining in development for longer than anticipated. But again, these things take time. We work really hard. I promise. We're not just twiddling our thumbs back here. We are
No, I believe
constantly
you.
in the weeds. So thank you all for being patient with us while we work on everything.
Yeah, I'd like to chime in
And
on
in
that.
that,
So
yeah,
yeah, so
yeah.
one thing, like a few things that we're trying to improve is definitely our communication towards the community and the transparency that we can bring. So we have committed to doing like a monthly update in terms of like the blog article and also more sessions of these like AMA where we kind of like talk about anything and answer all questions and give a more holistic update on what we've been working on, what went well and what went wrong. We recently released like kind of like a 1 year roadmap with more clarity on what's been worked on for the next few months, and then also kind of what's been will be worked on in the coming year. A lot of these are kind of like a live document that we're committed to, and then we'll continue to update the community if there are any changes, things that we might have shifted, things that have went well, and then like features that we've been able to launch. So hopefully we can communicate that in a more clear way, and then also in a more regular cadence.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into the next question on this, which is, um, how has the Neopets team committed to addressing feedback, owning their missteps, and keeping promises? I feel like I'm in court right now. Like, how will you address this feedback, and own your missteps?
Yeah, I think it's also
Um,
a cultural shift for the internal team as well as like
mhm,
how we have more accountability on teams that are working on certain features, and then we'll kind of like we're also trying to promise stay committed to our promises in terms of releasing a roadmap. It's not something that we've done regularly in the past, so we've only updated the community when things goes out, and then we don't really tell like why we shifted. We mentioned certain things, but we don't work on it anymore because of after a certain evaluation where we might have delayed certain features, but we never communicate that until kind of like the community push us and ask us about it. So we're changing that mindset. We're trying to commit to kind of like the roadmap and give regular updates, and if things that we're not doing or if we're shifting, we'll also communicate that upfront and instead of trying to address it after like, oh, a year later, oh, we mentioned about that feature, why is it not being worked on? So that's kind of how we're
mhm,
trying to improve the internal communication and also external communication with the community.
mhm, mhm. And I guess this is something that going back to the question I asked Aesop at the beginning, because we do delay things if we feel that we haven't been able to like adequately put resources towards them, or if we find that things might take more time, we do really want to wait to push them out. So like in the same vein, like Aesop, like now that the plot's launched a bit later than we initially intended, what was sort of like your work with doing that, and how do you feel putting the extra time towards it ended up working out for the release? Oh, you're muted.
Thank
Not
you
as
for
being in
that.
a Teams meeting, guys.
Yeah. There was definitely a lot of back and forth on that. And, it comes down to a bunch of different things, like all the different projects we're juggling and what resources are available. But honestly, although I was pretty dismayed that we did have to, take a longer breather than we were hoping before we get back to the plot, I was really happy with the changes we made in the meantime and how well it's been received so far. I know there was a lot of it that was just very grindy for people. And even just like from a storytelling perspective, getting a comic like every one comic every few days, it's rough. So I feel like being able to get like half of the chapter right on that Monday, and I'm feeling a lot better about the format we've reworked in that time. I'm not so happy at how long it took us to get back out to the plot,
Mhm,
but like
mhm,
I said, things happen. And I really appreciate the community being patient with us and still being so excited for the story when it came back. I was a little nervous that people might have kind of forgotten our characters, or maybe like not be quite as excited to see them continue their journey now, because it has been so long they've just been hanging out in the haunted woods for. But it was really nice to see just how excited people were, and whether it's like the really touching scenes we had between Bailey and Luxini already, or even our new
mhm,
pet companion. It was really fun to see the reactions everyone's been having so far on that. A lot of the changes we made in terms of the rollout of the actual story itself, and as well as like all the different activities that are coming with it. It really does feel like we've tweaked it a lot more to cater to what people will work best for a lot of our
mhm,
users.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, I agree, like, even though sometimes things take a little bit longer than usual, I really appreciate, like, all the work that's being done, and I'm so excited for people to see, what's coming out. Also, Aesop, I see a request in the Discord, if you saw me scrolling, they want a close-up of your shirt.
Oh, I didn't realize that, but yeah, it's the fairy one. Actually, I'm going the wrong way there. The bubble threw me off. I'm not used to being in a bubble. I feel like I'm in a little
Yeah,
orb or
this is
something.
new. This is a little bit new. I wonder if it's a foreshadowing for the upcoming Miracle Day cap that has a hamster ball slash trademark Zorbing inspired item. It's actually not related to that at all, but it did make me think of that. Okay, Dom, we have a question from Sean Baker underscore art on Instagram who submitted, can I trade you fan art for Battledome cards?
Well, I mean, send us your fan art, and since you asked nicely, I'm sure we can do some exchange. We'll DM you, and then we can send you some of our latest Battledome cards. And then we also love to receive more fan art if anyone has any.
Okay, perfect. A verbal contract is binding in the state of New York. So, Sean Baker, I don't know where you're located, but we have it on camera. We have 1,000 witnesses. Okay, and this is more of a fun question. While people are still voting, I'm reading the questions that people have submitted, and someone has asked, "Who are the team's favorite Neopets villains and why?" I guess Aesop, you can start us off. And this is from Darrigan underscore Trickster on Instagram.
I feel like I've probably answered this before, but I'm happy to do it again. It's a tough decision, and I'll start by saying right below my number one are the Darkest Fairy and Lord cast. They're very close behind, but I think number one for me is probably got to be Doctor Sloth. There's just something about that classic villain, maniacal genius, and he's having a good time. He's got a lot of flair. I like a villain who's like very dramatic, and I just the cape, all of it, like he's got it going on. He knows what he's doing.
Dingo, what about you? Someone in Discord was like, Dingo's eyes were like closed deep in
Yeah.
thought because he's a YouTuber.
I
Do you have a favorite villain?
I feel like I am scrambling to think of all of the villains, but off the top of my head, I gotta say Vera. She's just always had a special place in my heart. I almost don't even think of her as a villain. I think she's more just like a mischief maker, even though I know she's doing evil stuff right now. But I mean, girl boss.
Yeah.
Let her,
Yeah,
let you
yep, go
know,
Vera.
let her.
Let her. Aesop's like,
God forbid women
yeah,
do
like.
anything.
Dom, what about you?
So I know like Lord Cass is the number one fan favorite, but my personal favorite is Dr. Sloth. It's been kind of like the most mysterious one. It came out for a little bit, and then but it has like it could have a huge impact in Neopia, but now we don't know where he is, and then it is only the only villain that's not really a Neopet species, so it makes it even more unique.
Mhm, mhm. I love it. You just change it up so it didn't look like you copied. This is an unofficial Neopets villain, but I could never play Hot Dog Hero properly as a child because for some reason, like I don't know if y'all remember Hot Dog Hero. It was like a Nickelodeon era game, but like I don't understand how it plays because I would draw the line, but the hot dog would just fall through. So if anyone has any tips on how to play that, much appreciated. Not a real answer. I just work on wearables. Moving on to the next question. Um, Someone has asked which real world events and conventions did Neopets participate in? How did you guys feel about this? And can we maybe expect to see more in person events? What's the vibe with that? Maybe Dom, you might know more about this since you're actually attending something in August, right? Like Gamescom, right?
Yeah, so we've been attending a lot of events. So we're trying to balance between kind of like trade shows, which is more like business to business type of events, but also like business, like, and then more like uh, community focused events. So personally, I travel more to like the trade events, like the licensing expo, to meet with to do more like business development and finding partners to work with. I've recently been to SDCC, which I met up with a lot of the community there. We hosted an event. It was a great party, and then later on, I'm actually going to Gamescom, and also it's the biggest kind of like both trade and community show in Europe. So those are kind of like more for business development, meeting up with our partners, and yeah, I mean we have a lot of exciting things that we can announce soon and later this year about all these new partnerships and that we're drumming up.
Cool, yeah. And I know that there's like a lot of community people wanting to meet up. So I hope like even if we're not there at like some of the smaller events, if you guys would like find each other, that'd be so great. I love Neopets.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing,
Let's
yeah,
see.
to
Yeah.
add to that, like one thing that we're trying to do more is actually doing more community meetups at conferences, even if we don't exhibit. We'll try to organize more like official community meetups, kind of like more casual meetups, like where we can have like just a conference room for like an hour or two and have like the fans
Mhm.
on our community to meet up there. So that's something that we're exploring, so that we can be a little bit more nimble and attending more conferences in the future.
Mhm. So cool. I will not be there because I live abroad, but so excited for you guys that are going to be there. This is a question, I guess, for Aesop, which you kind of hinted at, but just as a question that says, what's something in the current narrative that you're most excited about?
Yeah, I definitely think for the plot that's going right now, we have two character arcs, one for Nyx and one for Baelia, and both of them are really exciting. I'm very thrilled to see how the community takes the direction that both of those arcs go, and I think that's what I'm most excited right now. Just those character stories that we have going on right now, where they're going to end up towards the end of the plot.
Mhm. Yeah. I'll I'm just laughing because I'm like reading the questions and like the questions for Aesop are like, what are you looking forward to the narrative? And then because Dingo's a programmer, it's literally like, what is the most challenging part of working on Neopets this year?
I get all the
But
softballs.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, like people just assume that Dingo's like suffering, which is honestly very much true. Like I see Dingo online at 2 a.m. and I'm like, go to bed. But yeah, what is the most challenging part of working on Neopets this year?
I would say just in general, we have a lot of things that we want to do and only so many people to get them done.
Hmm.
Like the plot, for example, was a big thing to we did a lot of updates on the back end, and during that time, I personally had to basically rebuild the quest log from the ground up because it was making the entire website lag. So that also kind of delayed things a bit. And that's just like, part of the challenge is we so only so many folks to get the stuff done. So when emergencies pop up, it delays other stuff, sadly. But we're here. We did it. We got it. It's out. We love it.
Like I'm so grateful for you because like I feel like you're like always like working like it's like all the programmers always like really busy and like stressed and then I'm like in this like little corner like sketching out like a pink Yusuke cap and I'm like goldfish and bowl like how does this look and like it's like the dichotomy between like ooh. And also yeah, shout out to the programmers who have been doing like everybody else like TNT binary super good TNT unknown. Yeah, we're so grateful for you. I did not know that you had to build Questlog from the ground up. Like for me, it was just another Tuesday, but for you, I guess you were saving Neopia. So thank you so much for your contributions. Um, okay, and then now we are moving into more questions that people submitted to us this past week. Um, this is a question for TNT Aesop, but someone has asked, will there be any more lore drops for Iana the Earth Fairy in the future?
That's a deep cut there. Yeah, it's a trading card character. Not much lore at all about Ilyana out there. But I will say honestly, like I'm glad this question came up because we're currently looking into some new concepts that could explore some lesser known or less utilized characters that we think the community would be really excited to see more of. I can't make any promises right now, but there is a chance you might see more of characters like Ilyana in the future.
I did not know that was like a trading card character. Like, it's so funny that people like submit questions. They're like, "Hey, can we get more lore about specifically Doctor Sloth's left toe?" And you're like, "Sure." Like, we haven't thought about that. And then in the same lore question, people are asking. I'm just gonna speed run these two together so you can answer them at the same time. The first person asking, when will Lord Cass be back? And the second one is asking Hannah and Canrick X when. Hannah X Canon when.
All right, happy to answer both of these. Yeah, the Lord Cass is a tricky one. He's awesome. I don't blame anyone at all wanting him back. And I'm not the type who likes to give too much away. I think it's important that we see what the future holds. I'm not entirely sure what exactly will hold, but I will say that maybe those who dare gaze deep enough into the void might get a glimpse at his whereabouts. So I'll leave it at that for Lord Cass. For Hannah and
So,
Kenrick,
so you,
actually, what? No, go on.
no, I was just gonna say you can't like cryptically say if you gaze deeply into the void because I know that people are like, let me just screenshot and zoom in on every piece of plot artwork that comes out to see if like Lord Cass has been like put in the background semi-transparently. Like this is when I was like, give it a listen, and then people are like, I don't hear anything on the game, and I was like, it's a figure of speech. But anyways,
You're
Henry,
right. I
Kenrick,
know. I gotta
way.
choose my words carefully. Don't go with a magnifying glass. It won't be that difficult. Just please stick along for the ride, and you'll be rewarded. I promise. But yeah, for Hannah and Kenrick, I gotta say, if you actually look at last year's Advent calendar, we did a whole series of couples enjoying the holidays together. So technically, they were canonized. They had an adorable skiing adventure, I believe, together when they were, you know, capturing another
Oh.
artifact, basically. But I know our team would love more chances to explore these two characters, and a lot of other
Mhm.
characters from previous storylines, whether it's Tor and Roberta, or Hannah and Kenrick, or Hanzo and Bryn. There's a lot of characters we'd love to bring back. So with any
Mhm.
luck in the future, we might be able to bring those two back in the spotlight too. But they have been canonized. I can confirm that.
Oh, wait, that's so exciting. And also, this reminds me of I was at SCCC last year, and there was this one incredible Neopian who had like that couples cosplay with it was like she was an alien Aisha, and then the partner was a vending machine.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I remember being asked for suggestions for couples costumes. So like Advent calendar, Hannah and Kenrick, there you go.
I think it works. Yep.
Great suggestion. And then someone asks, and I guess this is a question because the Lutari beats have recently made a comeback in the quest log, but will we ever know the fate of Lutari Island?
I hope so. I will say Lutaria Island plot was actually one of the ideas we were toying with when we first came up with. We had a number of different plots, and Lutaria Island was one of them. So we actually do have quite a bit of story direction planned for a potential future excursion to that floating island. TNT Dingo was actually a part of some of those talks too. We bring in people from every department because people have great ideas no
Mhm,
matter where they come from. So I definitely remember us chatting a lot about a potential Lutaria Island plot. That being said, I think both the land and the lore would need significant updates if we were to reintroduce the island. So I think that's one of the reasons we did end up going in a different direction for now. But since we do already have a bit of thought put behind the return to the island and some potential lore for it, I will say we have discussed the idea of bringing it back during maybe some type of like mini plot or some other like exclusive event. So yeah, we might have a chance
mhm,
to
mhm,
explore the terrain and lore of the island in the future.
mhm, mhm. So cool. Me being like so cool, and I'm like, oh, like I don't know anything about Lutaris except for Lutari D, and then see more. um, um, this is a question that maybe Dingo, you can ask without promising too much to the player, since I know like we don't really have plans for it. But the question is, are there still plans for Neo homes? Maybe Dingo and Dom, you can take this one.
Yeah, I know. I know we mentioned New Home in the roadmap. It's kind of like further out. The reason why we put it there is like something that we've started to explore. But what I'm trying to get at is like this roadmap is kind of like a live document, and then if we have more update on how we can bring it back, then we'll definitely continue to update the community. But if we realize that like bringing back New Home as a whole might be, if it's too daunting, then we might need to push it back. So we just want to put it out there to show that we've started the kind of like discussion internally on whether that's a
Mhm, mhm,
possibility. And that's why we kind of labeled it the quarters differently, kind of like ideation stage and things that we've committed to work on. So like the way that to look at this roadmap is like anything that we say that it's in development, that means it will be launched in the near future. And then the ideation stage are things that are kind of like further down the line, and then kind of like to be confirmed are things that are that we still need to discuss. And then if we can move it up, then we'll continue to update the community. But yeah, but Neo
mhm,
Home is
mhm.
a part that I really want to bring back. But it's just that it has been pretty big. It seems like it will be a pretty big undertaking, and we need to make sure we have enough resources before we try to work on that.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, like I think sometimes like we get really excited with like the prospects and we want to let you guys know that we're like not completely ignoring it. So that's why we like list things sometimes on the roadmap, as Dom said. But if it ends up that we can't do it, like we will update you guys. But it is something that we've talked about and although we're not sure at this point in time if we can bring it back. You know, like I'm seeing some suggestions in the Discord, like, could you reuse the Neo home that you were working on when we had like metaverse going on? And you know, these are all things, like all the things we could talk about. Very cool. Let me look at the next question. Um, the next question, Dom, maybe you might know a bit more about this one. Someone is asking, can we release old con merch? I know we have like a lot of collectors, but you know, is releasing old merch something that like we want to do if we are even able to do, or are you more so focusing on like creating new things?
Yeah, so we need to look into that. So I think there's mainly if it's con exclusive merch for that particular con, we might not be able to bring it back because of the agreements that we have in the past. Like if it's an exclusive, for example, SDCC exclusive items are things that we cannot bring it back. But there are ways to get around that. So for example, if we tweak the merch a little bit, maybe just update the design and then bring it back as like a remake version, then that might be possible. So I mean, if you have any, like, if there's enough demand from the community on certain merch, then we can definitely look at it and bring it back. But I would say that since we're in the merch topic, I would do want to say that we like the reason why we did the NPC survey is actually to help us identify what characters to work on for some of our future merch. So now we have undeniably known that Lord Cass is the #1 fan favorite. So I would say the community can expect that we are going to start working on Lord Cass merch. So maybe Lord Cass will not come back as much in the lore just yet, but I'm sure his physical presence will be appreciated.
Dead Chia plushie when? Like, I don't really care about Lord Cass. Sorry, Amanda Files. Like, Dead Chia plushie when? Dead Chia dog toy when? Okay, this is a question for Dingo, also fitting because I love your VTuber artwork. But people are asking, when are we going to get the Varwolf event?
So it is coming. We did not forget about them. They are coming soon-ish. Something mysterious is definitely brewing. So perhaps around when things start to get a little spookier in in the latter half of this year. Wink, wink, hint, hint.
Valentine's Day, perfect. A horror story my love life is. Absolutely. I cannot wait for February Valentine's Day Varwolf. Thank you so much.
But yes,
So
they're definitely still coming. We're again too many things, not enough people, but they're getting worked on. We love them. I love them. I personally pushed for the Varwolf in case anyone was wondering. It's my baby. I love it.
So exciting. Yeah, and I know that like TNT Goldfish and Bowl and others have been like working on like the Varwolf cap. And also because we got a lot of comments that were like, wow, like where's the love for the Vandegeyer? How come Vandegeyers don't get wearables? So TNT Goldfish and Bowl was like working with another member whose TNT name leaves me because I just used their like legal name, who works on Tadaba, is also on NC now. I'm designing like a Vandegeyer cap as well because a lot of fans were like, well, like what about the other species from 2016? So we are also, you know, we want to make sure that like we're making things that the Varwolf can wear. And like I know TNT Faye is cooking up some color, like a couple colors. I don't want to say like the exact number because I don't know, but I did see like some different color too, but very exciting. Okay, so so someone, Alla Sabrina Carpenter, saying, please, please, please tell us you are making a Battledome app.
To my knowledge, no
We're
plans at
not.
the moment. No. But if enough people wanted something like that, there could be. There could be.
There, in theory, always could be something, but we are not making a Battledome app. Thanks for the suggestion. We are working on other things that are like very excited that we're excited about, but at this time, not something for the Battledome. However, we thank you for putting your interest in. Oh, someone wants to ask, how many more slots are we getting? Are we getting new pet slots? Is that information we are allowed to release yet, or do we want to just say like stay tuned?
Well, we do have plans to release just one. You can't see me pointing my finger. One singular pet slot, extra pet slot, because we need to test the load on the servers and just see how that goes. And then once we get a better idea of the impact, we can predict future extra pet slot releases. I am not personally exactly sure when that is happening, but I know it's happening.
Mhm, mhm. Cool. Yeah, like I know that people have been asking for pet slots for a while, and I think even getting it to increase by one was like huge for us because like just like server space and processing time. But that's very exciting. Everybody can adopt
Uh,
one more baby Aisha.
Yeah, I think for the pet slots, like I'd like to chime in a little bit more. So it's
Hmm.
actually related to a lot of the foundational upgrade that we've been doing to the server. I hope the community has noticed that the average lag time has been much less now, and then the downtime is also less. I think the last time that the site was down is actually in June already. So this has never happened to Neopets to have like 30 months, 30 days of no downtime, which is pretty significant for us. I don't think it happened in the past decade. And then the average load speed has been reduced from more than 5 seconds to now 3.5 seconds. So a lot of these are actually related to how we've been trimming our database, optimizing our structure, and then kind of like revamping some of the kind of like kind of like doing some of the tech depths and revamping some of our structure from the grounds up. And then the pet slot is actually related to that because in the past we're not able to add any pet slot because adding a pet slot actually
Hmm.
adds almost infinite calls for a lot of these like database requests and cross references, and it's like a mess. And then before we do the revamp, it's almost impossible to add that without crashing the site. So now it's possible, but we still want to make sure that we can add one pet slot first to make sure the site is still in a stable state before we explore kind of other further options.
No, that makes sense. That my go-to phrase when something doesn't make sense, but like I know it makes like that makes sense. I don't understand how, but it makes sense. I am going to ask one or two more questions before we start like sharing on screen the live questions that you all have voted on. But this is a general question for you, Dingo, about the Battle Dome. Since people have been asking for the app. I know we're not working on an app for the Battledome, but have we made any changes recently to the Battledome?
Um, recently,
Or just in like recently, as in not like
yeah,
last week, but like just
like
things that
since the
like
last AMA,
mhm,
yes, a lot. I think. So there, I know we've done several significant improvements. We, especially after the plot was paused, there was a lot of like, oh, we're not getting these like special things from the plot. So we, put in certain like codestone drops and stuff up to Nerc mids, or well, we had to rebalance that a little bit because I think the Nerc mids were dropping less, but we rebalanced a lot of the prize pools. We upped strength and that we raised the caps for strength and defense stats. We we added the retired Battle Dome challengers. That was
mhm,
awesome.
mhm,
I
mhm,
have yet to utilize that feature myself, but I love the idea. The payouts were increased. You get more Neo points from fighting now, which I had been like pushing for a while. I'm like, give us more Neo points. It's the Neo point is like less than a penny. It's like 1,000
mhm,
Neo points is less than a penny. It's so bad.
mhm, mhm.
Um, and
Yeah,
lots
the
and lots and
conversions are
lots of bug
crazy.
fixes, lots of like
Mhm,
the mechanics that have not worked for a while. We are still trying to work on like foresight and I think there's some stuff related to stealing and freezing that's still in the
mhm,
works.
mhm,
But yes, we have been doing our best to improve the Battle Dome over this year, even if it's slow going. And I promise again, like we're doing what we can.
mhm, mhm, mhm. No, you don't need to justify yourself. I can see like the work that you've put in, and I'm like very grateful. This is a question that a lot of people have been asking about, and I'm just gonna throw it your way, Dom. Can we please get an update about the purge?
Yeah, so I see a lot of our members commenting in the comment section about the purge. So yeah, let's get to it. So we actually have done a lot of purge already, uh, more
Mhm.
related to the old database. Like I kind of like that leads to the improvement in the speed and why the site is lagging less. So we've done a lot of purge that are unrelated to user accounts. And the reason why we didn't do the purge for user accounts is because we realized that a lot of our former Labs users actually are really excited with the potential of claiming their old account back. And that has been the main driver for the past 2 years in terms of our site activity, MAU driving up. Is actually a lot of our Labs users are coming back. But in the past 3 years, it has been the Labs users that have like left the site in kind of like in the past 3 to 5 years. But what I've noticed in person at a lot of these events is when people notice that Neopets is still around, they wanted to come back. But when they know that they have a chance to claim their childhood account back and say hi to their childhood memories, that's an immediate yes. And it's like the biggest draw for us to attract our Labs users to come back and join Neopets once again. So that's one of the main reasons why we haven't proceed on the purge of user accounts. And we're actually going to do more uh, reactivation campaigns to get our Labs users to come back. But before we do that, we need to make sure we have a much more robust system to avoid people trying to hack into these old accounts. As we all know, there has been kind of like leaks in the past. So we have to make sure that we have a system to avoid kind of like hackers and people trying to steal other people's account and have a more robust kind of like customer service flow in place, and also protecting the high value accounts, the high value pet names, so that we can avoid some of these hacking potentials. So that's the main reason why we haven't proceeded with the purge of the usernames and like the user accounts, and then kind of like protecting that chance for a lot of our Labs users to come back and kind of like reconnect with their childhood account, basically.
Okay, sounds good. Sorry, I was just catching up on the next questions that we will be going into. Um, the first question that people seem to have submitted into the live poll that people are most curious about, it's also related to the purge, is will you ever get the staff account pound_release working again so it puts pets into the pound? There are many thousands of pets there in need of a home.
I can sort of comment on this. I we did look into it at one point. I know I brought it up, but it is currently just a low priority. But it is definitely something that we can look into. As far as I know, I was under the impression that it still was releasing pets. I don't know if it's just like a super huge backlog of things to release, but definitely something that if it's like the a highly requested, the most voted on question, yeah, we can bring that discussion back up.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, cool. I think this question has been asked a lot, but like on our end, it's not something that like is like that is like super like just brought back enough internally like how to relates to WeWork. But thank you for addressing it. This is a question. Oh my god, the chat is moving so fast. This is a question probably for TNT Aesop, but it's saying, is the void within from the very beginning quest from Act 1 locked despite the event reopening?
I believe that specific fearless deed was that you had to complete like a plot task in the first week of the plot. So I feel like that one might be, but I also know we were specifically trying to make sure the fearless deeds could be achievable afterwards. I don't want to throw it on you, Dingo, but if you have any idea on
Yeah,
that, I know we.
last I recall, I think that was the only one that is actually like locked behind the beginning of the plot. So we can still discuss it though if there's a way to bring that one back somehow. Because we did after that make the promise that like yes, you will be able to earn all of the deeds for the entire duration of the plot, except for that one. So it pains me. I want people to be able to earn it. So maybe we can take a second look at the requirements.
Mhm.
Maybe I don't know. We can think about it. We can brainstorm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a tricky one because that one is relying on like kind of being there from the beginning. That's what it's called. But at the same time, I do think we really do want people to like be able to jump in it, and also like the plot, has now been separated out into episodes too. So I think that's a whole other thing to consider.
Mhm.
We have like shifted the format from what originally was presented at. So yeah, I think you're right, Dingo. It
Mhm.
might be nice to chat about that and see if there's a way we can maybe
Mhm.
make some adjustments for players.
Mhm. And then, Dom, this might be a question for you, but it says, while you've made improvement to address botting, there is an active item code generation exploit and cheating by buying items slash neopoints with real money, which is still pretty rampant. Auctions every day. Are you to ring like funnily?
Luna, is she freeze for everyone?
I thought it was just me, but
Okay.
yeah, I
Okay.
think
So I guess I can answer part of that question as I heard it. So I think for we are aware of a lot of these like offsite buying behaviors, and we are trying to stop as much as possible. So we have been kind of like at least like we've stopped a lot of offsite buying of in-game kind of like items, and also like a lot of pet sellers. We have stopped quite a few of those trades, and also freezing some of these accounts that
Mhm.
we have found being engaged in these type of offsite activities. And normally when they're offsite sellers of pet names and offsite sellers of kind of like high value items, more often than not, they're also hackers and cheaters that have exploited our system in order to like hack into other accounts, stealing kind of like these leaked accounts from many years ago, and also like stealing the pets and then wash it through many trades. And that's why it also leads to the botting problem, because they create a lot of side accounts to wash these items. So we've been able to, I wouldn't say we've stopped all of it, but we've stopped a lot of it. And that's basically why we've improved our CS system to kind of like monitor these situations. In terms of other botting problems, we're also actively fixing a lot of those. So I hope it's more apparent now that the botting problem is not as severe as before, but it still takes a lot of effort, a lot of time to kind of to end more of it. But of course, like as we improved our system, the hackers and the botters would also change the way of doing it. So that's why it's probably going to be a longer battle than we want. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, like, cheating is I just every time, like, we do something to fix cheating, like, they come back in, like, a different way, but I promise you, like, we're not actively being like, "What if we fix, like, botting and cheating, but specifically we ignore this one big thing?" Like, we always think about how to get everything, and we're not deliberately being like, "Oh, well, like, let's just let those shell accounts get away." Just a very difficult issue. Another question that has been submitted is, can we get a goth paintbrush? To which TNT Dingo says, I
I
wish.
wish. I
I
wish.
wish.
If
I
if
will
I was
say that
making the decisions, it would be a yes.
yeah, if I was making the decisions, we would we would only be doing new paintbrushes. On a very real note though, like now that I've, sort of integrated into a new team, like creating a whole new paintbrush would be like very heavy lift for us. So we likely will not be getting a goth paintbrush anytime soon. That being said, if you ever have like outfit ideas or wearable ideas or existing color ideas, you can always go to TNT Adler's suggestion board, or if you like literally comment somewhere, or like even I think I lurk a lot in like the NC spoilers thread, but if you ever have like any suggestions for wearables you want to see, like please throw them in, because like I recently just worked on like the Kaya Quest pool that was all those like emo items, and that was like because like someone on like our internal art team was like, I'd sure love to draw a scene, and we're like, oh, like we should do that. So if you guys are like, oh, I really want like more goth wearables or like goth themed items, that is something we can work on. As for a full paintbrush, I'm like, stay tuned, but for a very long time. Um, and yeah, like I'm also like, wow, we got to bring back Artist Day Off. But that is all the questions that we have the time for. Again, like please check out these blog articles that we're going to be doing regularly for other questions. And if we miss some, we'll try to save them for the next AMA. But for now, I guess I will say bye to Dingo, Dom, and Aesop. And there will be a rare item code that you can go redeem at the now properly functioning Grundle's warehouse. At least you won't get the white page and you can get your prize. But there is a new Dom-themed Dom's favorite omelet, the Domlet. So the code should be up on the screen.
But that's
and,
new to me.
oh, happy birthday! Oh, yeah, TNT Goldfish and Bowl made it, and it's your favorite flavor omelet, the Domlet. All right, bye guys.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you. Bye bye.